The funding for this video is provided by the amazing members of my Patreon. Also contributions from viewers like you. Thank you. Yeah, I started from PBS Kids. What you gonna do? Fight me? Anyway, roll the video. So you mean to tell me that there is a movie that, right here, let me read directly from the notebook, has toxic yaoi, the Parker storyline, a midlife crisis, extreme sports, and music by the late 90s, early 2000s girl group Cleopatra? Well, they don't make films like this no more. They just don't. This little direct-to-video movie has it all. Alright, before we get started, as a lot of creators have been talking about how YouTube has been really spooky lately, they have not been telling y'all when I have been uploading. So yeah, I recently uploaded 2 videos. One where I was talking about Genu from K-pop Demon Hunters and Remake and how these characters are similar. And then the other video is about Adult Swim's newest series called Women Wearing Shoulder Pads. So if you haven't watched them yet, please go give them a watch if you want. And please leave a comment and a like because it really does help with the algorithm. Okay, thank you. Now on to today's video. Hey y'all, it's Harriana and I'm back with another video. Hi, hello, how are you doing? My name is Harriana. Welcome to or welcome back to The Pirate Ship, also known as Harriet's Pirate Ship. I'm the captain. You are not my first mate. I don't got no first mate because you want to know why? Bring your ear closer to the speaker so you can hear me clearly. No one's worthy of being the first mate. But hi, hello, how are you doing? My name is Harriana and I like to make content based on nostalgia and family and children's entertainment and all the issues that I find within those spaces. So over the summer, I decided to finally sit down and watch an extremely goofy movie in full. I had not watched this movie in over 15 years. Okay, last time I saw it, it was probably like 2009 or 2010. I never finished the movie either. I had always cut it off at the part where they start dancing in the club. I just never had a desire to finish this film. So this summer, I finally did watch it and I was pleasantly surprised. But why did I sit down and watch this movie? Mainly for 2 reasons. One, maxley. Okay, I think a lot of people know exactly why an extremely goofy movie is relevant again in the year of 2025. Maxley is a ship that I had always seen like in the 2010s. Like I always knew it existed, but I had no idea that it was gonna blow up last year over the summer. Like that was like the ship of the summer. And one of like my mutuals, I think his name is like Milkbox. He was posting like a lot of like maxley art and I was like, this is the thing again? So the main reason I did watch the movie is because that did like pique my interest, because I was like, oh, people are finally talking about an extremely goofy movie. Because growing up, when it came to like the goofy movie, people only really talked about the first one and they shipped Max and Roxanne with each other. But the second reason why I decided to watch an extremely goofy movie this past summer is because I came to the conclusion that I don't know how this movie ended. I had no idea how this film ended. I had no idea that Bradley Uppercrust III was even that much of an important character. Okay, that's the major reasons why I decided to give this film a watch. And y'all, I had too much fun with it, I'm gonna be completely honest. But before we go any further, I just want to do some self promo. I do want to do a quick little shameless plug. Both of my ebooks, the digital copies of it specifically, of Do Not Call Me Sis and You Still Cannot Call Me Sis, me and my friend Maya Janelle, we wrote a collection of essays together about white feminism, misogynoir, and fandom. We are selling the digital copy of that for $5 up until like probably next week. It depends on when this video goes out, but when this video goes out, it'll most likely still be like a $5 ebook, mainly because it's like a sale thing that we got going on. But yeah, you're interested in that, the link to that will be down below. And the next one is my Patreon. I do have a Patreon. Completely optional but deeply appreciated. I post early access to videos. I show behind the scenes of videos and other things that I do, such as my shop. But also I upload exclusive content over there. If you guys would like to watch my newest video, my exclusive video that I have over there where I'm talking about movies that I don't care to watch anytime soon, and some of those are for serious reasons, some of them are for like petty ass reasons too, just as well, I will have the link to that down below. Okay, now let's get into the subject matter. Why you clicked on this. Let's talk about an extremely goofy movie. An extremely goofy movie focuses on Max. Years after the first Goofy movie came out, he basically goes off to college. Max goes to college and he wants to be like this skateboarder, wants to be known for skateboarding, and that's where he starts butting heads with a top pro skateboarder named Bradley Uppercrust III, who basically is held up high on this pedestal at the college that he goes to. So aside from Max going off to college and basically trying to one-up Bradley, Goofy is struggling. He don't know what to do because he's sad that Max is no longer at home, but also Goofy is in need of getting a new job. And you know, this movie came out in 2000, so it's very dated, and I remember a lot of talks about this when I was younger, because I did grow up in the 2000s, where people would be talking about like, if you want a better job that pays better, you have different type of benefits. Basically Goofy didn't want to work in a factory no more. Yeah, he basically needed a college degree. He needed a degree. And the woman basically was like, you need to go to college to get a degree. But she said something that was really interesting to me, basically telling him, you're never too old to go back to school. Like, it's okay, you can go. And like I said, I'm somebody in my mid-20s and I'm still in university. So like, y'all, you're doing okay. If you're somebody else that's still in school right now and you're in your mid-20s or you're in your 30s, I understand. You're not alone. So Goofy decides to go to college, and what do you know, he decides to pick the one that Max attends. Not only does he pick that one Max attends because like he wants to go back to school, but he also does want to be closer to his son. And y'all, Max is like, y'all know how Max was an asshole to his daddy in the first movie? Oh, he's like significantly worse here. Like, on like a scale of like 1 to 10 in a Goofy movie of Max being a little dickhead, I'd say he was about like a 6. Here it's a 13. It's so bad. But that's just like the overall premise of the movie. Basically Max's best friend, like, you know, meets a girl, falls in love with her. The boy that ate the cheese, I forgot all about him in this movie. It's not coming to me. I have no idea what he did. It's funny because I'd say that it is somewhat of a realistic depiction of college, mainly because I don't be caring to go out and stuff like that. That's how I don't know about certain things. But I do think it was a tad bit exaggerated. It was very much exaggerated because there ain't no way in hell Goofy was gonna be able to enroll like in the middle of the semester unless he was doing like the half semester. And how did he graduate so fast? Like, I don't know. Things like that really just shows you who the intended audience for this movie was. Because as an adult who is still in university watching this movie, I'm like, there are certain things that do not work like that. That is not that. I will go ahead and say this, like, one of the reasons why I never finished this movie is because I never cared to do so. And that's because I like the second half of this movie better than the first. I don't know what it is about the first half of this movie, but it just felt extremely slow to me. Like with Max getting to the school, getting settled into his new environment, Goofy being sad that his son no longer at home but also needing to get a new job. I don't know, it was just moving a little bit slow. But then like it did start to pick up when Goofy did meet that woman that he started dancing with at the club. We're gonna bring this up next, but I don't know, the movie really just picked up a lot more for me in the second half because we got to see Goofy become more involved with the other students at the school. We got to see how Max felt about being overshadowed by his dad, but also realizing that he was being a complete dickhead to his dad too. It's a lot more entertaining in the second half. Also, we see a lot more Bradley in the second half. I think he really is what did this for me. Like, he is one of my favorite points of this movie. We're gonna bring him up later. But as I mentioned Goofy in this film, I think this is a really good movie about aging. It's a really, really good movie about aging. And here's why I say that. Because people on social media act like being over the age of 30 is like the end of the world. And this is like one of the reasons why I love watching the Parkers so much. Even though the Parkers is very much a part of its time. It came out around the same time of an extremely goofy movie. But for those of you guys who don't know, that being my followers that are not of color, the people who are not of color watching this video, The Parkers is a black sitcom that aired in the late 90s and early 2000s that followed a mother and daughter duo named Kim and Nikki who decide to go to college together. And one major thing that I really liked about The Parkers is that it showed that this middle-aged woman, that being Nikki, still did have dreams. She didn't like let her life end when she was like in her 20s. She still wanted to go to college. She still wanted to get that degree, and she still wanted to do things with that degree too. And we see like part of the reason she's so adamant about like getting that degree is because we see these little jobs that she gets here and there in the series because she doesn't have that degree. Like she does catering. She like does like that Mary Kay Avon type thing. They call it like Lady Egyptian in the show. But like this movie shares so many comparisons to The Parkers. I think that's kind of why I started to like it a lot more now than I did back then, because when last time I watched the movie like 15 years ago, the Parkers, I wasn't watching that show yet. And even though The Parkers did get on my nerves with that storyline of Nikki just chasing a man that she obviously was just too good for. Nikki was so embarrassing sometimes. She did like, you know, fall in love all over again. There were men that were interested in her. There were men that wanted to take her on dates, and she did go on some of these dates with these guys. And we see that Goofy, not only did he decide to like, you know, go back to school, but we also know that Goofy is a widow. That's the reason why he was like home by himself and so sad. He did end up falling in love with the librarian at the school. And it was super duper cute. That's a lot of people's like major highlight when it comes to this film. People really do like the relationship between Goofy and that woman. And I'm sorry that I'm calling her that woman. I'm trying not to reduce her down to just Goofy's love interest, but I forgot her name, y'all. It's not coming to me. Her name is Sylvia, by the way. Very, very pretty woman, and I think she was written pretty well for the time given in this movie. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest, I think this movie did a much better job of writing the female characters here than they did in a Goofy movie. And that brings me into my next point, where I do want to talk a little bit more about Bradley. In terms of counterparts, I prefer Bradley over Roxanne. This might be one of my hottest takes yet, one of my most unpopular opinions, but I think Roxanne was boring. I never cared about her, okay? I never cared about her. I just thought she was like your boring, typical girl next door love interest character, okay? I don't know. I don't know. I thought like her and Mac were cute like growing up when I would see like the fan art and stuff like that. But even then, I was just like, this girl is so boring. I wish they could have wrote her character a bit more, like to be a lot more interesting, because I thought Roxanne's best friend was a lot more entertaining than she was. But like she just basically served her purpose of being like the love interest to Max, and like I said, I think it's just a product of its time. It came out during 90s animation, and a lot of animation from that time period mainly centered male characters over the female characters. And that's why I mentioned that I think the female characters here were written significantly better. Like Goofy's love interest, the librarian woman, oh, so but much better than whatever the fuck they had going on in that first movie. Even with Goofy's best friend, his love interest too, we saw her a lot more. She was just kind of like the cool poetry girl. I don't know, but like it was a step up from what we got in the Goofy movie. A Goofy movie is very much a male-centered film. It's very much a buddy film. It is a movie about a father and son. So I completely understand why the female characters weren't the major focus there. But oh, it is just so, I just couldn't unsee it after I watched this movie and compared it to that one, because I've seen a Goofy movie so many times. Like, I literally have it on DVD. And I was just like, this movie did something better than the first. It wrote the female characters better. But as I mentioned, like, why I did like Bradley a little bit better than like Roxanne, like being a counterpart. That's what I'm talking about. Like, basically being the other person to Max in this movie. Bradley had like more of a personality. He wasn't trying to be cute. He wasn't trying to like, you know, he was trying to get attention. He wasn't trying to be cute. He was basically like a hot ass mess. And that is what makes his character so fun. Like, I'm sorry, Bradley Uppercrust III is a super duper fun character. Like, he's just annoying. Like, he's just annoying. He's not somebody I would say is like a completely awful person. I mean, what he did at the end of the movie was really, really bad. Like, Bradley, he deserved to get beat the fuck up for that. I will say that. But he's just an annoying asshole. Like, that's just pretty much it to his character. He's just an annoying asshole, and he sees that Max is new at this school and is getting all this attention, and he's like, you know what, I don't like that. I'm actually intimidated by you, and now I have a problem with your ass. I'm sorry, like, Bradley is just such a funny ass character to me. I adored him. I really do want to cosplay him though after watching this movie, because he was getting like the most laughs from me from this movie. And I will say that out of all the things that I enjoyed watching this film, Bradley Uppercrust III was the major one. It's just so funny to me because this is a fictional character that like I never thought I would see had so much discourse over him. A direct-to-video movie that he was probably only in for like 40 minutes max. As I mentioned, Cleopatra, for those of you guys who don't know, I used to play like Cleopatra's music on my channel, like in my videos. Cleopatra was this black British girl group that was in the late 90s and early 2000s. Sadly, they never really went much of anywhere. Black Femininity TV actually has a good video about them where she was talking about like black British girl groups because of like, you know, Flow becoming popular. That's why she wanted to make the video, and she does have a section where she does talk about Cleopatra. I will have that link down below. But Cleopatra did the song at the end of this film, which is basically their version of Right Back Where We Started From by Maxine Nightingale. And I'm gonna be honest, I kind of prefer the Cleopatra version. Every time I listen to this song, I listen to the Cleopatra version, but it just kind of wraps everything up well with this movie. This is a very loud, in-your-face movie, and then we end it with this fun dance song by Cleopatra in the end. It is nice to see that Cleopatra was getting some type of recognition around this time period. I don't know, I get sad because I listened to like their second album is significantly better than the first, but the girls have potential. It's just a bit disheartening to see that they never really went much of anywhere. But we do have an extremely goofy movie that showed that there were people there at the time that did appreciate their craft. This movie was just so much like The Parkers, okay? Like, I think that's the major reason why I had so much fun with it. I wasn't taking it too seriously because, like I said, it's a direct-to-video Disney film that came out in 2000. My expectations for it weren't super duper high, and I also don't want to be extremely critical of like a direct-to-video movie unless it does something that was extremely harmful, and I don't think an extremely goofy movie from what I know of did anything extremely bad. Like, there were some things about it that just kind of felt a bit like, you know, dated. I did talk about how this was low-key very much inaccurate when it came to like university, but like that's just kind of like bottom of the barrel stuff that I'm like But I had fun. It's a fun, cute movie. Like I said, I like the second half much more than the first half. That's probably why I've never finished it, because the first half I was a little bored with it, mainly because I had already seen that part so many times before it just cut off and I never finished it. But watching it in full, I have like a bigger appreciation for it, and I will say that it's one of the more better direct-to-video Disney films. And I say that because I feel like there was a lot more effort put in this movie compared to the others, and I think that had a lot to do with the sports scenes that they had to animate, the extreme sports with the skateboarding and all that. That required a lot of work, and I did notice that there was a lot of dedication put into those parts, so I deeply did appreciate it. It wasn't super duper lazy in my opinion, like a lot of direct-to-video films. I don't really think it was lazy at all, but I do think the movie did suffer a lot from trying to repeat certain things from the first Goofy movie. I think that's the reason why the first half of it was just kind of to me. But when it started to become more of its own thing, like, you know, the rivalry with Max and Bradley, and Goofy basically falling in love again, and them just trying to adjust to their new lives at this school, It's a very, very good and heartfelt watch. I love this movie so much. Will I watch it again? Probably, yeah. Am I gonna cosplay Bradley? Fuck yes, of course I am. Well, yeah, that's pretty much it. I didn't want this video to be too long, but that was an extremely good movie. Did y'all like it? Let me know your thoughts down below, because there was good in this movie. There were issues, but overall, like I said, it's one of the better direct-to-video Disney films. Thank y'all so much for watching. Have a great day, night, whatever time of day you chose to watch this video. I'm just thankful that you watched it with the ads on. All right, thank you. Goodbye.
Now that you see, you should beware of the power of three. They come to fight as fast as they can. They're dangerous yet fabulous. Because the Utonium made them eschew. They are the colors of pink, green, and blue. They'll catch you in the blink of an eye and do it all before bedtime. They coming through and fighting, and everyone they're shocking. You know no one can stop them all because of the chemical as they coming through and coming through, and everyone they're shocking. You know no one can stop them all because of the chemical as. The Powerpuff Girls will just blow your mind. Buttercup like villains 3 at a time. Bubbles will smile while kicking your butt, and Blossom will lead them out of their rut. Cherish and Powerpuff, 2 of a kind. Both wanna save the world before bedtime. From Townsville, Memphis, New York to LA, the Powerpuff Girls are just here to stay.